just a bone's throw away, is Dinoland USA. There, through the Olden Gate Bridge, an archway formed by the 40-foot tall skeleton of a Brachiosaurus, Dinoland USA is a place where the fascination with these creatures we all had when we were kids comes out in us again.
Today, we're embarking on a journey through time to explore the multifaceted history of Dinoland USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This land has captivated, puzzled, and entertained guests since the park's opening in 1998. From its inception as an homage to paleontology and prehistoric life, to its evolution into a quirky roadside carnival, and now facing transformation into the tropical Americas, Dinoland USA has a rich and complex narrative. Join us as we delve deep into the origins, development, attractions, transformations, and the legacy of this unique land. We'll uncover the stories behind its creation, the thematic intricacies, guest experiences, and the factors leading to its impending closure and reimagining. This is the history of Dinoland USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Dinoland is comprised of the Boneyard, which is an excavation playground area where I am. It goes off behind me quite a ways. And then the rest of the land, which leads up to the big dinosaur thrill ride, Countdown to Extinction.
To truly grasp the essence of Dinoland USA, we need to journey back to the early 1990s when Disney Imagineers were conceptualizing a new theme park centered around the natural world. The vision for Disney's Animal Kingdom was to celebrate the intrinsic value of nature, focusing on live animals, conservation efforts, and our interconnectedness with the environment. However, the challenge was to create a park that balanced educational content with the thrilling experiences the guests had come to expect from Disney. In addressing this challenge, Imagineers devised a three-part thematic structure for the park. So it was animals that exist today, showcasing real, living animals in immersive habitats, emphasizing conservation and education. There was extinct animals, so exploring creatures that once roamed the earth, with a particular emphasis on dinosaurs, tapping into the universal fascination with these prehistoric giants. And thirdly, there was mythical animals, so delving into creatures of legend and folklore, such as dragons and unicorns, to ignite the imagination. And while the first two themes materialised, the mythical creatures concept, known as Beastly Kingdom, was ultimately shelved due to budgetary constraints. This decision paved the way for a more pronounced focus on dinosaurs, leading to the birth of Dinoland USA. The creative direction for Dinoland USA was notably unconventional. So rather than constructing a straightforward prehistoric landscape, Imagineers opted for a layered narrative. The land was envisioned as a small-town American roadside attraction that had organically developed around a significant fossil discovery. This setting was designed to evoke the charm and eccentricity of mid-20th century Americana, reminiscent of the quirky dinosaur-themed roadside attractions that dotted historical routes like Route 66. Central to this narrative was the Dino Institute, a fictional research facility dedicated to the study of dinosaurs. The storyline suggested that the discovery of fossils in the area led to the establishment of the institute, attracting scientists, tourists, and entrepreneurs alike. This influx of interest spurred the creation of various attractions, eateries, and shops, each contributing to the land's eclectic and layered theming. This ambitious and meta-thematic approach aimed to offer guests a multifaceted experience, blending education, entertainment, and nostalgia. But the question remained, would visitors resonate with this intricate narrative tapestry? As construction of Animal Kingdom progressed throughout the mid-1990s, Dinoland USA began to take shape, embodying the Imagineers' vision of a roadside attraction turned paleontological hub. When the park officially opened on April 22, 1998, Dinoland USA welcomed guests with a blend of thrilling rides, educational exhibits, and immersive environments. There were a few key attractions at opening. So there was Countdown to Extinction, the marquee attraction, and it was a high-intensity dark ride that transported guests back to the late Cretaceous period. Utilising the enhanced motion vehicle system, similar to Disneyland's Indiana Jones Adventure, riders boarded time rovers to embark on a mission to retrieve an iguanodon before the catastrophic asteroid impact. The ride was renowned for its dynamic movements, atmospheric effects, and suspenseful narrative, offering a stark contrast to the more serene experiences found elsewhere in the park. In 2000, the attraction was rebranded as Dinosaur to align with Disney's animated film of the same name, though the core ride experience remained largely unchanged. At opening, there was also the Boneyard, which was designed as an interactive playground, and it invited children to step into the shoes of paleontologists. This expansive area featured a variety of activities. There was a fossil dig site, which was a sand-filled excavation area where young explorers could unearth replica dinosaur fossils using provided tools, fostering hands-on learning and discovery. There were climbing structures, which incorporated ropes, slides and tunnels, and were themed to resemble fossilized dinosaur remains and dig equipment, encouraging imaginative play. And there were educational displays, so scattered throughout the playground were informative plaques and exhibits detailing various dinosaur species, fossilization processes, and the science of paleontology. And the last main attraction at opening was Dino Zoo, a highlight of the land really. It was a meticulously crafted replica of the largest and most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton ever discovered. Measuring 40 feet in length and standing 13 feet tall, this exhibit offered guests an up-close look at one of history's most formidable predators, emphasizing Disney's commitment to blending education with entertainment. The overarching design of Dinoland USA was rich in storytelling and thematic details. So like with the Dino Institute, it served as the facade for the dinosaur attraction, and the Institute was portrayed as a prestigious research facility. Its architecture combined modern design with fossil displays and academic signage, creating the feel of a university-style research hub. The pre-show experience for Dinosaur introduced guests to the fictional Dr. Marsh and Dr. Seeker, further immersing them in the Institute's story. This blend of narrative and setting made the attraction feel like a functioning research facility, not just a theme park ride. And at Restaurantosaurus, it was more than just a quick service location. Restaurantosaurus was deeply tied to the land's backstory. The building was meant to have once been a fishing lodge, later converted into student housing and a mess hall for the paleontology grad students working at the Dino Institute. Inside, the walls were covered with humorous posters, scientific doodles, bunk beds, and college-style jokes, all giving personality to the fictional staff. Even the name, Restaurantosaurus, was in on the pun. Overall, the land opened with an ambitious sense of depth. Everything from signage to props had a reason for being there, even if most guests wouldn't catch all the references. The goal was to create a living, breathing town centered around dinosaur discovery, one that had grown organically over time. But just a few years later, the tone of the land would take a significant turn. In 2001, Disney expanded Dinoland USA with a controversial addition, Chester and Hester's Dinorama, a sub-area that radically shifted the tone of the land. According to the law, Chester and Hester were local gas station owners who saw dollar signs when the Dino Institute brought scientists and tourists into town. Wanting to cash in, they turned their old parking lot into a kitschy roadside carnival. This was where Dinorama came in, deliberately designed to look cheap, gaudy and over the top. Primeval Whirl opened in 2002 as the main draw. It was a spinning wild mouse roller coaster, built as a mirrored pair of tracks. The storyline, if you paid attention, was a cartoon version of the dinosaur ride. Guests travelled back in time to the age of the dinosaurs, but in this version, everything was silly and exaggerated. The ride was decorated with comic book style cutouts, googly-eyed dinosaurs, and intentionally goofy signage. The coaster was rough, jerky, and visually jarring, and that was the point. The second attraction, Triceratops Spin, was a Dumbo-style spinner aimed at younger guests. Riders flew on cartoonish Triceratops beneath a spinning dino topper, surrounded by carnival lights and bright paint. The rest of Dinorama was filled with midway games and novelty photo ops. The area had asphalt pavement with visible parking lines to suggest it had truly been built over an old parking lot. Carnival music looped in the background, and even the trash cans and light poles were part of the joke. Some guests loved the absurdity and the boldness of the theming. Others weren't so forgiving. To casual visitors, the area felt like a cheap carnival that didn't belong in a Disney park. Many missed the point entirely, not realising that the garish design was intentional, part of the layered narrative that contrasted science with commercialisation. The reception was mixed. Over time, critics would cite Dinorama as a low point in Animal Kingdom's overall aesthetic, especially when compared to the detailed, immersive lands like Africa and Asia. But there were still fans and defenders who praised it for its commitment to the bit. By the 2010s, Dinoland USA was widely seen as the black sheep of Animal Kingdom. Primeval World became a particular target of criticism. The ride was rough, often painful, and its unthemed queue area offered little shade. Mechanical issues plagued the ride throughout its life, and despite the mirrored tracks, it was often only partially operational. In 2019, it was reduced to seasonal operation, and in 2020, it quietly closed for good. The midway games of Dinorama remained operational, but were lightly trafficked and rarely updated. Many guests would walk right past the area on their way to Dinosaur without stopping. Paint faded, props broke, the land's intentionally kitschy charm started to feel unintentionally run down. Meanwhile, Dinosaur, still the land's anchor attraction, retained a cult following. Though the ride lost some effects over the years and underwent periods of refurbishment, it remained one of the park's most intense thrill rides. Fans appreciated its dark tone, physical sets and thrilling ride system. Still, its connection to the now forgotten Dinosaur film from 2000 was often seen as a strange and dated branding choice. Criticism of the land as a whole became more vocal. Many guests felt Dinoland USA lacked cohesion. The shift from the detailed paleontology theme of the Dino Institute to the jarring neon chaos of Dinorama was too abrupt. The educational elements felt pushed aside in favour of midway games and carnival rides. And compared to the immersive environments of newer lands like Pandora, the world of Avatar, Dinoland felt underdeveloped and out of place. Internally, Disney began exploring options. Rumours of replacements circulated for years, and at one point, Imagineers pitched a full-scale Indiana Jones re-theme using the same ride system as Dinosaur. At another point, Zootopia was floated as a possible re-theme, tying into that film's animal-based world. But none of these ideas were greenlit until D23 in 2023. In 2023, Disney finally announced what many had long suspected: Dinoland USA was going extinct. At Destination D23, the company revealed plans to reimagine the area into a new land inspired by the tropical Americas. Though still in early development, the concept art showed lush rainforests, flowing rivers, ancient ruins, and wildlife reminiscent of Central and South America. Two major IPs were teased: Encanto and Indiana Jones. Encanto would bring the magical family's casita to life, possibly as a walkthrough or dark ride. Indiana Jones would likely replace the dinosaur ride, using the same EMV system, finally delivering the long-rumoured overlay. And while exact timelines were not given, construction walls went up around the Dinorama area in early 2025, signalling that its time was officially up. Primeval World had already been demolished, and the Midway Games were dismantled soon after, followed potentially by Dinosaur itself. It's not yet clear how much of the original land's infrastructure will remain. Some believe the Boneyard and Restaurantosaurus could be re-themed to fit the new land, while others predict a full teardown. What's certain is that Disney is betting big on this transformation, not just to modernise the land, but to better align it with Animal Kingdom's emphasis on real-world environments and cultures. So what do we make of Dinoland USA? In many ways, it was one of the most experimental lands Disney ever built. Its narrative depth and intentional theming were incredibly ambitious, but also incredibly niche. For theme park diehards, the land offered layers of story and satire. It played with guest expectations, challenged traditional ideas of theming, and poked fun at the commercialization of scientific discovery. But for the average guest, those nuances were often lost, and instead, it just looked like a carnival in a parking lot. Yet, for all its faults, Dinoland inspired a unique kind of affection. Some guests loved the weirdness, the fossil dig site, the retro signage, and the chaotic energy of Primeval World. It was a land that never quite fit in, and maybe that's what made it memorable. Now, with its fossil record written and its final days ticking down, we say goodbye to a land that dared to be different. Love it or hate it, Dinoland USA will go down as one of the most curious chapters in Disney park history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into theme park nostalgia, please pop a like on the video, it's incredibly helpful to me. And I would love you to subscribe for more of these theme park deep dives. Really enjoying exploring theme parks, rides and lands at the moment. So if you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, get down into the comments and let me know whether there's another theme park land or a ride or an attraction that you would like me to make the subject of my next video. Also let me know, what are your memories of Dinoland USA? Did you dig the dino kitsch, or are you ready for something new? Thanks so much for watching today. If theme park nostalgia videos interest you, why not check out this one next? Thanks so much, and as always, stay curious and keep adventuring.